Ron, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to improve your voice and your delivery in just one session, or does it take like years to develop your voice?
One session. You can.
One session.
Oh, yeah, one session. I mean, it takes years to really perfect the sound. But in one session, you can hear a difference in the way you sound and the way you speak.
Well, how do you do it in one session?
Well, let's show them how. Hi, I'm Ron.
And I'm Joyce, and this is Broyles, our
Broyles.
Special guest on
Brightspeak.
And today, Broyles will learn how to deliver his barks better in just one training session.
All right, so you were asking, is it really possible in
Is
just
it?
one session to improve the way you sound? And I said, resounding yes.
Wow.
Resounding yes.
And I was witness to this when one of our students, Tinsae from Ethiopia, emailed Ron a couple of weeks ago asking for help on a project that he was doing for a client.
That's right. So he sent me a sample of the narration he did and asked me to take a listen to it and give him some advice. And I did. And here it is.
Check it out.
Okay, this is for you, Tinsae. Tinsae, one of our students from Medialite 10, or MLX, in northern Thailand last year. Before anything else, let me just say this. You have an awesome voice. Okay, Joyce and I told you that at Medialite. You have an incredible voice, Tinsae, and we just want to help you maximize that. Thank you for sending your VO and your script. And you and I went back on and forth on it just a bit. Now, I'll tell you straight away, when I heard the first thing you sent me, my first thought was, that's really too fast. You read it too fast. And as I listened to it more, I thought, it's kind of the fault of the script. At least that's what I felt. And how you might not have marked it out well, or at all, maybe. But I did ask you to send me some info. One was there a time limit for the video? And number two, could you send me the script so I could see it? The third thing I asked was, did you do more than one reading, or did you just run through it once and then chop it up to send me that last version? Now, you did send me the script, and I'm going to take a look at that right now. Again, just to see that. And there were 21 lines. There were two parts, but you only sent me the recorded first part. And in these 21 lines, I could see, yes, there were some pretty long-running sentences. So my suspicion on that was correct. And I believe that what would help you there would be marking it down properly, breaking it up, finding the right phrasing for the script in order to help you with the delivery. Now, the second question you answered was the video is actually 5 to 6 minutes long. Now, the VO you sent me runs about 1 minute and 40 seconds, which I'm not sure if the video is supposed to have gaps or if it's wall-to-wall voicing. But either way, I think even if it did have gaps for video to play out and some other sound elements to play out, and it's not wall-to-wall voicing, 1 minute and 40 seconds for a 5-minute video is too fast, unless you were planning to insert some interviews and other stuff. But let's say even if you included that middle part, which is about half as long, then we would be talking about maybe 2 minutes and 45 seconds or 3 minutes. That still leaves you 2 minutes of video, 2 to 3 minutes of video. So my first suggestion is to slow down, really. Now, you did tell me that when you tried reading it slower, you felt it was too slow. So here's what we're going to do. Let me just play a little bit of your video here so we can, or your audio clip here so we can listen to it.
It's clear that we live in a digital era where 70% of adult people have access to the internet and mobile devices. In Africa, The level of experience that people have for technology is not uniform. There are many people who have never touched or used a computer. But now in Africa, people have more access to mobile phones than access to clean water. It's funny. You can find many places where you can get a 4G cellular network while having a problem to find a clean water, or a bookstore to find a Bible.
Okay, I'll stop it right there. And what I was saying earlier, I think is true. Some of the sentences I think you felt were long, and you did admit that. And so your delivery was, you're trying to almost rush through it. That's problem number one. Problem number two is when you did that, you used only one type of pattern. And I think if you listen to it again yourself, you'll hear that pattern, na 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 na. When you do that, no matter what speed you're reading at, listeners are going to start to close even yourself after a while, you start to close your ear to what's happening, and you're not listening anymore to the words being said or the message that's being delivered. You're just hearing a repetitive pattern. And so it doesn't sound so nice. And that would probably be even more true if it's done slowly, which is what you yourself said. And what I'm suggesting is to read it more slowly. So I sent you back a script, and I added some markings there. Take a look at it. So this is the script with some markings there. There are three things I did. Number one is I put the slashes there, backslashes. One slash means give it a short pause. Two backslashes, give it a longer pause. The second thing you'll notice is that there are bold words now. I did the bold font on some of the words. That's for emphasis. Okay. And then the third thing I did is I underlined a couple of things there. The underline means play with the pace. In this case, if you're reading it fast, it means slow it down. If, in this case, I made it all for slow it down. That's a different type of emphasis. Okay. So let's take the slow delivery first. So if we slowed it down a bit, your big worry is that you'll sound too slow. And you will sound too slow if your delivery is always like this. But remember, you can play around with the delivery. This is what we taught you in Medialite last year. It doesn't always have to be slow, this slow. You can speed it up a bit in some places and slow it down a bit in other places. So let's take even just the first few lines here. It is clear that we live in a digital era where 70% of adults have access to the internet and mobile devices. In Africa, the level of experience that people have for technology is not uniform. There are many people who have never touched or used a computer. But now, in Africa, people have more access to mobile phones than access to clean water. All right. See, so that's slow, a lot slower than you read it, but it didn't sound really dragging. That's because of the way that I broke it up, and also certain places where I put emphasis, and how I varied the speed in different areas. It wasn't one consistent slow pace. Some parts were faster than the others, and that's why it didn't sound completely slow. Now, in the same way, when you mark out a script, you can deliver it fast using these markings as well, and it'll hopefully help you sound better. Let's try it. It's clear that we live in a digital era where 70% of adults have access to the internet and mobile devices. In Africa, the level of experience that people have for technology is not uniform. There are many people who have never touched or used a computer. But now in Africa, people have more access to mobile phones than access to clean water. Okay, see? So you can read it fast, but make sure you're varying your delivery within the phrases in order for it not to sound monotonous. And once you hit a pattern that's recognizable and it just starts repeating itself, again, people, including yourself, will start to close your ears out. And what comes through, what registers in the brain is just da-na-na-na-na tones. And, the information, the message doesn't get through. Right? So let me do that one more time. I'll do it in a slow way with the markings, and then I'll do it again in a fast way with one more thing to emphasize. Remember the exercises Joyce gave in Medialite, where she gave you facial exercises, and they were a lot of fun. You did the tongue flicker, you did the smiling and the facial expressions. Those are to help open up the mouth area, loosen up the jaw, so that you can form words more clearly. In other words, open the mouth and pronounce the words more clearly. Don't over-pronounce or over-enunciate, but do it clearly. So especially when you're doing it a fast delivery, it sounds clear. When you're doing it slowly, you can take more care, but it's harder to do this when you do it at a fast pace. Let me start with the slow one, but watch my mouth too as well as I form the words. It's clear that we live in a digital era where 70% of adults have access to the internet and mobile devices. In Africa, the level of experience that people have for technology is not uniform. There are many people who never touched or used a computer. But now, in Africa, people have more access to mobile phones than access to clean water. There you go. Let's take one of the longer lines you have, which is the next one. You can find many places where you can get 4G cellular network while having a problem to find clean water or a bookstore to buy a Bible. Now, let's try this the fast way too. Watch the mouth. It is clear that we live in a digital era where 70% of adults have access to the internet and mobile devices. In Africa, the level of experience that people have for technology is not uniform. There are many people who have never touched or used a computer. But now in Africa, people have more access to mobile phones than access to clean water. It is funny. You can find many places where you can get a 4G cellular network while having a problem to find clean water or a bookstore to buy a Bible. So remember, mark your scripts out well, look through it carefully, choose the words you want to emphasize, choose the places you want to slow down and speed up, and always keep that mouth wide open. Hope that helps, Tinsae. I know you'll do great. We love you.